Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, thanks to the conference organizer, Government of Singapore, for having me here today. It's a great honor for me to be here to speak about Interpol perspective on the protecting future society from the future crime. Today, I'm going to speak about first, evolution of crime in digital world. How technological advancement has opened up new opportunities for criminals to commit crime. And then I'm going to touch upon the future crime, a couple of examples, possible scenarios. Then I'm going to speak about the future policing, what law enforcement could do to make the world a safer place, which is actually Interpol vision. Fast evolution of crime in digital world. In essence, the crime is shifting from the physical to cyberspace, facilitated by technological advancement. In other words, compromise point is moving to the digital space, digital world. This is a global trend because data is now money, therefore it is targeted. So data, data, data. In that context, perhaps it is useful to explain about intersection of technology and crime, focusing on three mega trends of technology-enabled crimes. First, secure communication, which is often used in the banking industry, now abused by the criminals, cyber bank robbery. Encryption is designed to protect our privacy and the data, now being abused by criminal in the ransomware attack, locking up our information. Internet of Things, IoT, which is going to make our life easy, convenient, but it is used by criminals for launching IoT DDoS attack. So let me explain about one by one. First, cyber bank robbery. So this is an interesting story in terms of evolution of crime. So you are familiar with this picture. Classic way of robbing the bank, which happens still, unfortunately, but trends have changed greatly. This is interesting statistics. According to the British Bank Association, the number of bank robberies in the UK in 1992, including the attempt, is 847. So 2014, 20 years later, 88 cases, significant drop. It's not unique for only UK. Another example, Japan, my country. 1992, 115 cases, a little bit safer in Japan than in the UK, but it's not my point. Actually, it's dropped significantly, 33 cases, according to the statistics of National Police Agency. Then you may wonder, what's the situation in Singapore? I couldn't find the official statistics in this matter, but we could find actually the media report. According to the media report, there were 5 cases in the past 15 years. It's incredible. It's incredible. So I think it's super safe. So congratulations on the Singapore police forces. It's a great success. But this is not the only good story, actually bad story is behind it. This one, online banking fraud. The criminals are looking at opportunity in the cyberspace. Then actually now cybercrime, let's say, is industrialized, just like one industry. Actually, they are looking at banking credentials, but actually the criminals do not stop at the same place for a long time, because harvesting banking credentials, well, sometimes, the one bank account may have less than 1,000 US dollars. It's not actually cost effective. So perhaps in Singapore, many of you may have more than 100,000 Singapore dollars in the bank, but it's not the case globally. So actually they started to look at the bank itself. Now I think we call it cyber bank robbery, targeting banks themselves. Core systems of banks are now being abused, like a SWIFT, which is created to provide secure messaging system to financial institutions. You remember last year, the Bangladesh Central Bank was targeted 81 million US dollars. You cannot carry this amount of money. It's too heavy to carry 81 million US dollars. But you can easily transfer this amount of money through the internet. In this case, it's in Philippines casino. The second one, it's Russia, the same year, 31 million US dollars. 31 million US dollars is huge. But actually, in the Russian case, all money was cashed out through the ATM in Russia. So it's happening. It's not scientific fiction, it's reality. Second one is the ransomware. I think that's yesterday, a previous speaker spoke about this one. But I think this is the classic way of asking ransom. It's still there across the world, but the criminals shifting the tactics to ransomware. But actually, ransomware is not new to law enforcement. At least it existed back to 2007 or 2008. But it was really nascent stage. But we had some anticipation it would become the problem. And then it did. Especially this case is unique in a way that victim, actually the hospital, publicly acknowledged that they had to pay the ransom in the Bitcoin. And then it was actually the start of the ransomware year, let's say. 2016 was actually the year of ransomware from law enforcement perspective. Actually, the statistics shows very clearly, this is the statistics coming from FBI. 2015, 2016, the payment, 40 times. Average ransom demanded, double. This is the situation. And then, perhaps some of you may know that November last year, city of San Francisco was cyber attacked with ransomware, resulting in the huge disruption in terms of the train systems. As a consequence, 3-day free ride in terms of San Francisco train system. It is huge reputational damage in addition to the financial loss. Maybe I think tourists were happy for over 3 days, it's free. But I think, actually think about it. It may happen to Singapore, Shanghai, London, and Tokyo. This is reality, so we need to prepare for that. And then this year, 2017, it's kind of outbreak or the pandemic of ransomware. In the past, ransomware focused on the language, region, specific e-commerce, but now it's across the globe. So you will continue to hear largest ever ransomware, fast ever, etc., because the changing crime landscape is becoming new normal. We need to deal with changing criminal landscape. This is second point. Third is IoT DDoS attack. I don't think today's audience need explanation about IoT. Actually, this was already abused by criminals, malware for IoT called Mirai. Security experts and law enforcement warned that the IoT devices such as the CCTV cameras have security problems because users do not change factory default username and the password. So it's easy to compromise compared with regular computer system. Because usually I think you have the antivirus software in computer, but not for the IoT devices. And then already consequences are felt by the companies, world-renowned companies, and also the countries. Liberia, small countries in the West Africa, 4 million population. But I think that the point is the magnitude of the attack, 500 gigabit for the Liberia, and then 1.1 terabit per second attack for the dying. This is innovation in the DDoS attack. Usually global banks experience DDoS attack almost every day. Average of the attack is approximately 20 gigabit per second. Then they can survive. So and then you can go to the online black market, you can purchase DDoS attack as a service, 20 gigabit per second, you can buy it, like, let's say 100 US dollars or euros. But 5 gigabit per second, 1.1 terabit per second, this is something beyond our imagination, but this is happening. This is happening. So we need to be prepared, and then we need to take action, unless otherwise, IoT becomes Internet of Threat. It sounds like a very much pessimistic way of saying, but I'm not the pessimist. Actually, I'm pretty much pragmatic optimist who believe that we can achieve Internet of Trust, digital trusted society. In order for us to make it, various actors need to collaborate together in making sure that Internet, the engine of our digital economy society, remains safe and secure. I think this is very important, and then I'm going to touch upon the future crime. Perhaps some of you may know Mr. Jules Verne, French novelist, who is often called as father of science fiction SF. He said once, anything one man can imagine, other men can make real. From law enforcement perspective, or the criminal perspective, I must say anything one can imagine, criminals can make real. And they are quite innovative. They are working together, making money, helping each other. So our cars and homes and cities and even nations are increasingly connected and then getting smarter. Of course, connectivity has contributed to the better competitiveness and the higher, let's say, productivities, boosting economic growth, which is a model of our future society or economy that we need to protect. It's a bright future. However, the connectivity connect something we don't want to connect, which is criminals. So crime is getting smarter, and then criminals getting smarter, which I briefly touched upon in the previous slide. So perhaps I think you could imagine a little bit. You know the terrorist attack, Nice, Berlin, most recently London. They used the vehicle, terrorists drove the vehicle. So I'd like to ask you how these attacks may happen in the future, when or if the smart car, autonomous car are widely used. Criminal use of smart car. This is an example of the Hollywood movie with the Fate of the Furious. But the criminals can easily hack into the system of a smart car, autonomous car, targeting soft target or a specific target at their own way. I say it may happen. It may happen. I know that yesterday, the speaker showed the statistics that actually more than half of the people may have some hesitation to use or to purchase autonomous vehicle because of some psychological hesitation. I think that indicates something important because people have anticipation in a way that something may wrong happens, and then it can be happen like this. And as an example, terrorist attack on train. Perhaps you remember 2004 Madrid train bombing. Approximately 200 people were killed in this incident targeting 4 commuter train in Madrid. What would happen if criminals use smart TGB? And then this is not actually, again, SF. The recently, actually last month, SNCF, French National Rail Companies Organization, announced that they are going to make smart TGB by 2023, which is perhaps 1 year before Paris Summer Olympics, because Paris is running for the Summer Olympics 2024. So actually, we need to be aware those kinds of things will be coming. And then this is not rocket science. We are not blindsided at all. This is known and unknown crime. The point is, people are at least people are likely to look at what they want to see. And then always there are two conflicting interests, security privacy, economic growth, national security, etc., etc. So, but we have to face reality, unless otherwise, later on, we would be, or these kinds of things labeled, black elephant, turning blind eye on things which we need to face. Another example, this is actually the bright future. To maintain a biological ecosystem, a few institutions in the US, it's Harvard University, and Japan, actually created successfully the so-called bee drones to pollinate flower. It's really bright future. But from the criminal perspective, so criminal use of AI, robotics, etc. So actually this comes from the British TV Black Mirror. Some of you may be aware. The criminals transformed the autonomous drone bees into killer bees. So you can use that killer bees to kill somebody you want to kill. Very simply, as drone bees are able to identify, at least select assassination target based on the social media feed, namely #death2, and then the killer bees are able to identify criminals with facial recognition technology, able to locate target with GPS and sensors, and able to kill the target just like a bullet, because the bee is the robotics, it's a drone. So everything is controlled by AI, together with latest technology which are often mentioned in the context of the fourth industrial revolution. Well, I think that the combination of usage of those technologies makes crime unpredictable and very much complex. So I dare to say that the usage of AI for a criminal purpose would become the game changer for a future security landscape. Some may say it's black swan situation. Nonetheless, I believe that law enforcement should be able to protect future society, even if Hollywood movie becomes reality and science fiction becomes science fact. Having in mind, I'd like to touch upon the future policing, how law enforcement can protect future society from those threats or crimes which I briefly explained about. Essentially, law enforcement must predict the unpredictable. This is not easy because Interpol and other law enforcement agencies do not have crystal ball, which will be telling you what would be coming. But there is a harbinger that some police forces, say Kyoto in Japan, Los Angeles in the United States, started to implement the concept of the predictive policing. This is just like a community policing 2.0. There is a harbinger in this direction. Under any circumstances, primary law or responsibility of law enforcement is to ensure their citizens' safety and security regardless of their on the street or online. No difference for law enforcement responsibility. Nonetheless, the challenge we face is that currently the law enforcement structure is a closed system based on the nation states, while threat we are facing are global. So the policing does not inherently scale globally across national border. It doesn't scale in the cyberspace either. This is very challenging environment where law enforcement must operate to identify, locate, and arrest criminals. Of course, government made great effort to address this issue by creating 2 conventions shown in this slide, but that was almost 15 years ago. there is clearly room for improvement to reflect technological advancement and also evolving security landscape. More importantly, when it comes to the international legal framework, we need to acknowledge that power is shifting from the nation state to non-state actor. This is addition to power transition, which is happening, power is shifting from west to the east. So we need to take into consideration power diffusion from nation states to non-state actor. This is very important. So I would say that we need to discuss, what we need to discuss is to agree on what could be done legally and technologically rather than impose what should be done. Because technology goes faster than the legal framework. It sounds like a bold statement, but I think it reflects reality because, well, the companies, not the country, define certain rules and practice we need to follow in the cyberspace, such as encryption. It's not a good idea for enforcement to compel the tech companies to decrypt communication and information, at least across national border. It shouldn't be a starting point for us, law enforcement, to find solution in this direction. Having said that, this is not actually the science fiction, it's a reality. Actually, for law enforcement, it's vital to employ very actively emerging technology and foster innovation to make the future society safer. Like Robocop in Dubai, shown in this slide, again, this is a reality. Well, we need to catch up technological advancement. As criminals are catching up the technology described in the Hollywood movie, why not law enforcement get inspiration from futuristic ideas and the tools shown on the right side of the slide? So that is very important. To this end, it's worth mentioning that Interpol Global Complex for Innovation was created 2015 here in Singapore to seek and develop innovative security solutions together with private company and academia who may have more knowledge and then expertise in this field, new technological field. Now, 2017, IGCI serves as global platform where law enforcement can be inspired to predict the unpredictable with view to making the future society safe and secure. Thank you so much for your listening.